Todd, thanks for joining us today. I know you guys have a new guide out for the month of January on procrastinators and how to deal with long-term nursing home planning, things along those lines.
Yeah.
But before we even get there, I get a pretty common question frequently from folks is, when am I too late to start traditional estate planning, and when do I need to focus on last-minute planning like you're talking about here for procrastinators? Is there a certain age threshold that you reach where you say, it's too late to do traditional estate planning, we need to look at something else? Or what is the threshold that you look at when it comes to this?
Well, I think you mean when we're talking about a traditional estate planning versus, I'm going to say, traditional estate and Medicaid planning. I'm just going to add that because estate planning, you could start,
Sure.
as soon as you have minor children. You have little kids, and you know what, I got to do an estate plan because I got minor children. So you could be young. But for nursing home type planning, I always say, you know what, 60 and over is my thumbnail sort of sketch as to when you start. I start asking questions when people are 60 and over when I meet them.
Mm-hmm.
But by the same token, even if they had done some advanced planning, and this is what's important, I am advocating for advanced planning. I think that's the way to go, and when you're 60 and over, you should do it. But even if you've done it and you put most of your assets in a trust, this guide that you mentioned that we're doing still makes sense, because you're going to either have, when you end up going into a nursing home, even if you've done your advanced planning, which I hope you do, you might leave assets outside the trust, like IRAs and things, and they need protected. And of course, for all you folks who just, for whatever reason, didn't get around to it and you're faced with that nursing home admission, then of course, don't write the check, do the last minute planning.
Got it. So, Todd, talk to me about then. Let's talk about the realistic situation that I know you've dealt with, which is someone comes in and they really haven't done much in the way of estate planning, and they are now faced with a nursing home, and there are assets there. Can you walk me through? I know there are certain asset thresholds that you or your healthy spouse is allowed to keep, but beyond those levels, what are the common ways that you see in terms of trying to get countable assets out of the estate, and what are the red flags? Don't do this type of thing when it comes to that sort of planning.
Yeah, so it varies. If you're a married couple, you get your $135,000 roughly that you can keep, and two that the spouse can keep.
Okay.
And then the house you can always keep, but it's tricky assets like vacation homes and rental properties. Make them rental, turn them into rental, and then you can keep them, but they'll put a lien on it. But at least they'll be non-countable. It's a way of making an asset that was countable non-countable. Same thing with excess dollars. I mean, that's really what you're faced with. It's oh my gosh, what do I do with all the excess money? Well, if you've got a spouse, lots of times special Medicaid annuities can be purchased. These are not regular investments. They're special Medicaid type annuities to convert assets to income. And there's ways of using pooled trusts for single people as well to help get somebody eligible for Medicaid. And the whole goal is to get on the Medicaid rate versus the long-term care rate to try to save assets last minute for family members. So,
based on the way you're describing it, I'm just assuming here that qualifying for the Medicaid rate is substantially cheaper than market rate.
Oh boy, you got it right there. It's every bit of 50% or more. Depending on the level of care that you need in terms of savings.
Todd, I know you got this guide out. It is the last day of the month, so last day of the month to get a copy. How can listeners get a copy of your guide?
Yes, so the important thing is that it is the last day of the month, and so it's going to go away, and it is going to help you if you want to learn how to, protect assets last minute from the cost of nursing home care. Whether you've done planning or haven't done planning, there's likely going to be excess assets that you have to deal with when you're entering a nursing home. How do you not write the check? Get the guide, 866-848-5699, or go to my website, legalexchangeshow.com. Once again, 866-848-5699 or legalexchangeshow.com.
Todd, always appreciate you joining us. Again, that's Todd Lutsky from the law firm of Cushing & Dolan talking to us today about last minute Medicaid planning for procrastinators. Todd, thanks again.